Come on, fellas, the pride is on the line tonight. The mighty Queensland jumper.
Menzies! He's over! Does he get it down? He's held up! Look at him go! He puts the icing on the Queensland cake.
You've got to produce. Not good enough the first game.
Oh, Gilmeister! He wasn't in orbit, but he finished up in it.
We tackled well in game one, but we've got to do it better. We chased kicks well in game one. We've got to do it better.
Tooby. Then the Fittler. The kick. Oh, the try! Eddinghausen has got the perfect bounce.
We played some great football, but we've got to do it better.
Then he's picked up and forced back into the in goal.
That's great defence.
You've got to lay your bodies on the line tonight. You've got to make a commitment to each other, to yourselves, to your families and your supporters.
Now Langer shoring the pressure on New South Wales. The dive, I think they're there. Yes, sir. Queensland go in.
But most importantly, you've got to be prepared to spill some blood, to uphold the pride of Queensland.
Gilroy fires one out to Langer. Langer with a little chase too. Can he get the bouncy toe to the game? And toe to the game. It's still in play, Ian. Still in play. Well, he tried to watch before and didn't do it.
Now with Stewart, he shows it to Fittler. Tries to do it. He's on there to try. McGregor. Ricky Stewart magic.
Back to Gilmeister. Gets it on to Lewis. Lewis on the Miles. A little hand run. Oh, yes. Seven scorers scored in for Queensland. Look at Lewis. They clear it out along the line. They're pretty deep. And there's a big run here. Oh, O'Connor. What a great try from O'Connor.
It's gone out to Malmaninga. And he gets it away. It's been flung back. It's a try.
Comes out for Daly. Daly right. Oh, beautiful ball. On the Tim Ratcher. Oh, Ratcher gets the pass away. Yes, sir.
Don't let them stand in tackles.
Oh, big tackle by Serena.
We've got to scramble for the full 80 minutes.
Now Alan Langer. Malmaninga. Oh, did he?
If you're going to run through them.
Harrigan goes hard. Oh, he's tough, Harrigan.
It's the school kids, the cabbies, the families at home. They're the ones we've got to win for tonight.
Langer's with the football. Goes for
He's
it.
got it.
I think he's got it. Langer has broken the deadlock.
We've got to get in, look for the offloads. If someone's there to pass, make sure you're there.
Was touched.
Oh.
Play on.
Here's a chance. Fittler. McCoy. Oh, he'll score. The easiest of tries.
Don't worry about the first game, boys. They got lucky.
And it's with the captain. And off the left foot, he goes back looking for the outside men. There's a chance. It's a try for the Blues.
We know we're the better side, and we're going to prove it tonight. From the first whistle, we're going to knock them over.
And then they bombard him over the top.
We're going to embarrass them in front of their people. We're going to humiliate them.
Langer dives for the line. It's a try.
We can wrap it up right here and now. Let's go.
Oh, two.
Hello and welcome to Game 2 of the State of Origin for 1996. Can the Maroons come back and square the series? Peter Sterling, it's a big job for them, and of course Fatty Vaughton, he'd be feeling the pressure.
Well, it's do or die for the Maroons, of course. They could lose the series tonight with a loss. I don't know if there's a lot of pressure on Paul Vaughton. He won't miss a tackle or drop a ball, and that was really their big problem in Game 1, the fundamentals of the match. I really think Paul's role tonight is to keep the team relaxed and not get carried away with the excitement of this game.
Well, Queensland have been down in Sydney since last Thursday, so they've had plenty of time to acclimatise to the conditions, which are very balmy tonight, and not too long ago they arrived at the stadium.
Here we see the Maroons players coming off the bus. Mark Coyne and Julian O'Neill, both new additions to this side. And I think one of the big problems for Queensland in that opening match was the lack of depth in their back line. It will be up to that man there, Alan Langer, to get his players deep and to try and get a little bit more width in their game, because they really didn't have a lot of that in Game 1. Steve Walters could be a key tonight. Wendell Saylor probably their best player in the first match. Billy Moore, one of the most passionate players in the Queensland side. Plenty of passion in this New South Wales team as well, with Jeff Tuvey first off the bus. He was our man of the match and had a fantastic game. Really got the Blues on the front foot early in the opening game, and I don't think they were ever in any serious danger of defeat after they got that momentum. A lot of the momentum was given by their front men, Paul Harrigan and Glenn Lazarus. Lazarus, of course, played the full 80 minutes, which is just an unbelievable effort at this level of football. And the selectors have chosen the same 17, and that's no surprise because they did such a great job in Brisbane, and if they can even improve on that, which I'm sure they can do, they're going to be very difficult to beat once again tonight.
All right, Peter on the sideline with his thoughts on the game, and in crossing down to you, Ray, that's about as close as you'll get to the action tonight.
Yes, Ken, we don't get any further away than here at the Sydney Football Stadium. They are ant-like out there, and for commentators, it's very much a binocular game. Onto the game, though, I think New South Wales will wrap up the series here tonight. Many times you've heard us say, on paper, they look the better team. But I really and truly believe they are the better team. I think they proved that at Suncorp, and I think they will again prove it tonight here at Rugby League headquarters in Sydney. Gary Belcher, of course, is close to the Queenslanders. He's been with them as recently as last night. What's the feeling there?
Well, they're very intense, Ray. In fact, Brad Thorne was probably too intense for the last few days. They've had to settle him down a little bit. But they know they've got a big job ahead of them. In fact, I think New South Wales can improve as well. So the Queenslanders have to come forward in leaps and bounds if they're going to match them tonight.
It's a tall order looking at the statistics. Only 3 times in 14 years has a team come from 1-0 in the series and gone on to win it.
Well, let's hope it's Queensland to make it 4 times tonight. They have to get Jason Smith on the field early for my money. The forward pack needs to go forward, but they also need some ball players, and he's the man for that job.
You're tipping Queensland?
No doubt. It's going to be a tight one, and Steve Walters will have to have a big one as well.
I can't move him off that, Ken. Back to you.
Yeah, we didn't really expect anything different from the badge. Okay, Queenslander through and through. If there's been one criticism of Queensland since first state of origin, and that's that the high-profile players, the key players, didn't put in enough.
I don't know about didn't put in, Ken, but they didn't play close to the best of their ability. And really the 14-6 scoreline wasn't an indication of that first game. The gulf between the two sides was far greater. So Queensland really need to improve a great deal tonight to test New South Wales.
Relying on some of those big names. OK, plenty of interesting matchups tonight. Who's the fastest? Who's the most dangerous of the wingmen? Is it Dallas or Mullins?
Last year, Brett Dallas was plucked from reserve grade to bolster the depleted Maroon ranks and went on to play a hero's role. Often regarded as the fastest finisher in rugby league, watch for his ability to make breaks up the middle from broken play or a poor New South Wales kick and chase. Good wingers will turn half chances into tries, and no one is more adept at that than Brett Mullins. He's shown he can score from anywhere on the field. His gangling frame belying deceptive grace and speed, and has the positional sense to complement a class Blues backline.
Homeloan has the
State of Origin 1996, the Hoodoo Gurus out there in the middle of the field. The Hoodoo Gurus, and the song is called The Right Time. Is it the right time for the Maroons? Well, I guess we'll find out a little later on, around about 9:30 this evening. But Stella, I guess right now let's run through and take a look at the teams and how they're shaping up one-on-one.
Well, it was the right time for the New South Wales selectors to stay with the successful squad from Brisbane, and that's what they've done. Those 17 players are the same. They took the field at Suncorp Stadium, and they will play in the same manner. We will still see Jeff Tuvey at dummy half. That allows Andrew Johns to go to first receiver. Laurie Daly, Brad Fittler will swap around between lock forward, 5'8", and centre. And it's a well-balanced side. Timmy Brasher, who was one of their best, will look to get involved as much as possible. And we will see a lot of football for the 4 reserves, because Phil Gould does like to use a 17-man squad.
OK, let's take a look at Queensland.
Well, vastly different for Queensland. There you see the team that took the field for them in Brisbane, and the players in red, they are actually either out of the side or in different positions. And this is how the selectors have come up for the second game. Wendell Saylor has gone back to fullback off the wing. Matt Singh pushed out from the centres onto the wing. That allows Mark Coyne, a very experienced player, to come into the centre position. He'll be looking to lead his backs because there are some young players around him. Julian O'Neill at 5'8", hasn't played a lot of football there, but he's been in good form for the Western Reds, and he will take over the heavy responsibility of the goal kicking. In the second row, Gary Larson drops back to his best position. He was the front rower, of course, in the first match. Andrew G comes in as a specialist prop. Steve Walters, he's had one game back after 8 months out through injury, so that's a bit of a gamble by the Maroon selectors. And on the bench, we see Jason Smith, who was in the original lineup. He's been pushed out of the 5'8" position to number 16. It's been a long time, Ken, since we've seen the Queensland selectors react in such a manner.
Everyone's running a sweepstake. How long before Kevy Walters is on the paddock?
Well, they're saying that he'll be out there very early on for Julian O'Neill. I don't think that is the case. Paul Vaughton has been quoted many times this week of saying that he can't afford to take Julian O'Neill off the paddock because he's got to goal kick, and that's probably a pretty fair argument.
OK, well, talking to the man in charge of the Maroons right now, Tim Sheridan with Paul Vaughton.
Paul, a lot of speculation that the team that the selectors chose was not necessarily the one that you'd run on to win this match. Will you make any changes as soon as they run on?
Yeah, the team that was selected will run on, and I'll just play it by ear then as to when I make a change. As far as getting Kevin Walters on, remains to be seen. It might be 15 or 20 minutes into the game.
You called for more fire after the first match. In what way have you, well, I guess, gone through it with the players so that they'll produce in this match?
Well, just appeal to the players, you know, to play with more controlled aggression. I'm not interested in fights or fisties. I just want to see a few of the Blues players get hurt through some big tackles and you know, anything we can do to hurt them.
Good luck tonight.
Just hope we play well.
Well, very intense. Paul Vaughton wants a little bit of starch.
Well, they need to be aggressive. In the first game, most of the driving defence was New South Wales way, so he'll be looking for them to be much better in that department. There he is, having a chat to his players before they go out. This really isn't the time for words. Most of it has been done during the preparation throughout the week. He'll just be stressing the key important points that he wants done. That will be ball control and field position. And to go out and play well for themselves. He wants them to come off satisfied with their own performance.
OK, it's going to be very interesting when that first scrum packs down. Andrew Johns, hook a ring in against the specialist and acknowledge the best in the world, Steve Walters.
Opposition coach Phil Gould has described Steve Walters as the best hooker the game has ever produced. Whilst there's no doubting Steve's ability, the big question will be whether he's up to the pace of State of Origin football after such a long break through injury. Although a makeshift hooker, Andrew Johns has filled the spot admirably for both New South Wales and Australia. He'll slip back to his usual halfback position in open play, combining an astute passing game with his ability to split the defence with a darting run or clever kick. Queensland selectors have opted for the versatile Julian O'Neill to plug the troublesome 5'8" spot. The Western Red brings with him a strong running game, a good kicking option, and defensive skills needed to close down the brilliance of the Blues inside back. And brilliant is the only way to describe Blues skipper Brad Fittler. Freddie has the near-perfect game, can break a tackle with a giant step off either foot, spot a gap for a teammate, or bamboozle the defence with his kicking game, and he's keen to revenge the trouncing of 1995.
And that he is back at the Sydney Football Stadium, and the man who's been in the New South Wales dressing room and knows that feeling very, very well on Origin night. Here is Steve Blocker-Roach.
Yeah, it should be outstanding, this one. Time for the Blues to square up after last year's disappointing. I've been down in the dressing room. There's that man, Stephen Menzies. He came on in the first game to score a try for the New South Welshman. Jamie Ainscough, he'll come off the bench tonight, play an important role for the New South Welshman. There's Jeff Turvey. What an outstanding game he had in the first game. They led well and from the front, Harrigan, and he made the yards from the dummy half position. There's Brad Fittler. And there you have Jimmy Dimmick laying down there. Here's Fittler now. He's the New South Wales captain. I'm sure that he'll lead from the front. And looks like it. They're very, very excited, this New South Wales side, to go 2-0 up and I'm sure that they will be able to do that, Kenny. Plenty of noise down here on the sideline, as you can imagine. Everyone excited about State of Origin.
Good on you. Thank you very much, Blocker, and look forward to your reports right throughout the evening. Now, we've got to have a look at Queensland and see what they're up to. We saw a little bit of Paul Vorton talking to them in the dressing room, and as you said, it's all over bar the shouting as far as that sort of thing is concerned, but there are a few things to be absorbed, I would imagine.
They're amazing places, dressing sheds before games. It's interesting to have a look at players, how they prepare themselves. Some are creatures of habit. They get dressed the same way. I actually played with a man called John Ferguson, a great winger from Canberra, who they had to wake up to go out and play a State of Origin match. He was obviously very relaxed, and not a lot of talking goes on in the dressing sheds. In fact, that's a good sign. I think you can walk into a shed and know whether the players are ready to play or not. And I'm sure that Paul Vorton, he'll be just looking around to see the players have got their minds on their job, know what their roles are. There you can see in the background Gary Larson just putting some protection on around the sternum area. He's one of the workaholics in the side, and plenty of collision around that area, so that's a good thing as well. And obviously, things like strapping is very important.
Okay, well, we're only just a few minutes away from Game 2 in the State of Origin. We will be back right after this. The Australia State of Origin 2 coming up, and to call all the action as the Sydney Football Stadium gets ready to erupt, here is Ray Warren.
Thank you, Ken, and good evening, everybody, again. And the Sydney Football Stadium is pulsating, is probably the word best to describe it, as the Blues wait for the instruction to make the walk down the tunnel, and then they'll be greeted by a crowd of about 41,000 here at Rugby League headquarters in Sydney. A game that Sydney desperately needs. Queensland dressing room probably a little more sombre. Of course, as Peter Sterling pointed out in the pre-match discussions, it can be all over for them tonight. A second chance awaits the Blues as they make the walk down the tunnel, hoping that they can wrap it up here. Crowd waiting for them now as they prepare to enter the stadium behind their captain, Brad Fittler. Pat on the shoulder there from Menzies. And here they come. Fittler leads the Blues out. 47th Origin clash. The series could be won by the Blues tonight. The Maroons with other ideas. They can be assured they'll almost bounce off the reception they'll get here. And that's the New South Wales crowd saying welcome to the Queensland Maroons. Looking back up at the scoreboard, all vantage points have been taken. Quite amazingly, many of the seats were vacant up until 5 minutes ago. They've come from corporate functions, from nearby hotels, and now Rugby League headquarters here in Sydney is full. Langer leads Queensland for the first time tonight. Brett Mullins, one of the players under a sickness cloud coming into the game, and Steve Walters, of course, hasn't worn the maroon jumper at their last 4 outings. Players assembling then, waiting for the national anthem. Mark Coyne, one of the players back, scored that memorable try here at the Sydney Football Stadium a couple of years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the national anthem?
Ray, you would not get a better night for rugby league. Absolutely perfect.
And here she is, the First Lady of Song, probably more appropriately the First Lady of the Australian National Anthem, Julie Anthony. how you sing it. And I hope she's given the greatest honour of all in 4 years' time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Julie Anthony.
Julie Anthony and the national anthem. So the arena just being cleared now. Big load on the shoulders of that man, Andrew G. Jeff Tuvey, of course, one of the stars of Origin 1. Tony Hearn, Andrew Ettinghausen. David Manson is in his 8th Origin. New South Wales will run right to left. And Origin 2 is underway. Off the boot of Andrew Johns. And sliding down to take that ball was Brad Thorne, the young Queenslander. First touch of the football. Hearn, a bumping run. Even that run was an improvement on the start of the match in Queensland. Now Steve Walters goes for a dummy half run, his first of the game. Penalty against the Blues. Inside the 10.
I spoke to David Manson, the referee, before the match. He's keen to stop the players jumping the gun early when they play the ball. That's what happened on that occasion.
Julian O'Neill from the Western Reds.
Oh, big shoulder!
Laurie Daly on the front rower, Andrew G. poleaxed him as Gary Larson gets dealt some treatment, 28 out centre field, second tackle.
Steve Walters then away to the left, and here's Billy Moore. Swarmed over by the Blues, just outside the 20-metre line. They come to the right for Langer to put it on the boot, looking for Dallas on the outside flank. Saylor and Brasher waiting for the decision. Line drop out.
Well, that's tremendous work from Queensland. A set move, and Timmy Brasher really had some work to do here. Wendell Saylor and Brett Dallas were zeroing in, and the fullback again was in the right place at the right time. Have a look at this from a centre on a front rower.
Well, Laurie Daly's put the hip and shoulder into that and stopped Andrew G in his tracks.
Well, that line drop out didn't have a lot of quality about it. And Alan Langer's gone into touch. Penalty's gone to Queensland nevertheless.
Well, we can't tell from here. The referee obviously thought Alan Langer's momentum was stopped. He takes the quick kick for the sideline, as you'd expect.
Yeah, it was a penalty, all right. It was a good decision.
15 metres out from the line. Member side of the ground. Tony Hearn got away from the tackle there of the New South Wales number 8, Lazarus. More towards the centre of the park then. Langer, a long pass out. He finds his 5'8" O'Neill. O'Neill put away. No gain in ground. They lost it, in fact. Now from Renoff, and it's with Saylor. Saylor goes straight up at the forward. Wendell Saylor playing it there for Steve Walters to come to the right for Alan Langer, and Langer held on to the ball. Now Jeff Tuvey has been flattened. I'm not sure what happened to him as it comes across for Renoff. He rolls it into the end goal, and again some work for Brasher, but this time it'll come back to the 20-metre line.
A little bit too deep, that one, but Billy Moore, in going back on side for Queensland, seemed to come in contact with Jeff Tuvey. He dropped to the ground very, very quickly. The touch judge is now on. I'm sure that it is Billy Moore, the player that will be called out.
Brad Fittler's got something to say about it. Here's Billy Moore, just gives Tuvey a bit of a push. Well, a bit of acting there from Jeff Tuvey. I don't think he connected too hard.
David Manson taking the information from that touch judge that saw it. Almost the 4th minute. And a good start for Queensland.
I think the touch judge might be saying that was a little bit each way there. No further action than coming out for the restart, the 20-metre tap, and it is Jeff Tuvey who will offload to Glenn Lazarus. He takes the ball 9 metres out. pretty good charge and drawing plenty of attention.
Tooby there. And the Blues getting their first touch of the ball. Harrigan playing it. Tooby away, sound of the whistle, and the first Blues penalty. Tooby keen for a quick tap.
Well, it was obvious from up here that the Queensland players had done the same as the Blues earlier on. They jumped the gun on the play the ball. David Manson real keen early to let them know he wants a big 10 yards.
David Manson calling New South Wales back as Lazarus was met and pulled down by Tony Hearn. Harrigan, more over the top, Larson underneath. Hearn came in over the top again. 30-metre line underneath the Blues now. Johns, taken by Andrew G. Now from Tooby, they go for the right of the ground, and Muir. New South Wales lock forward, 15 metres out. Tooby appeals for a penalty. Now he passes, an ordinary ball away for Johns, who fends away from Langer. Johns almost through. Desperate defence by Queensland. Now, the kick by Fittler. Saylor is there. A ring of the Blues around him. And a line drop out.
Similar tactics by both teams early in this match, and good tactics. Wendell Saylor, back at full-back, was in the right position here, and they'll be very aware of Brad Fittler's short kicking game. He put on the first try in Brisbane for Andrew Eddinghausen. I'm sure that Paul Vaughton has them well versed in covering those little kicks, as it was on this occasion.
So we come back down the ground with the first Western Red Origin player from memory. I don't think that applied to Brad Mackay. Tooby now. 30 metres away from the Queensland line. Penalty goes to the Blues against the Queensland tacklers. And Andrew Johns will be given the ball. Brad Fittler says kick for goal.
Steve Walters sucking them in there as Johns lines the kick up. Brad Thorne was the offender here, making the tackle, maybe a little bit high, but he wasn't tackled for that. Slowing him down just too much in there. He's doing his job, but a little bit over-vigorous.
Yes, that will be the priority of both teams, to slow down the momentum of the opposition, and that will mean trying to hold them down in the play-the-ball area. Obviously, this is not the part of the field that you want to be doing that, giving Johns the first opportunity to put points on. Not an easy kick. He's only 30 metres out, 15 metres in. He didn't hit his first one very well in Queensland. Got 2 points. He'll be looking to strike the ball better this time.
Andrew Johns. 7.5 minutes. 30 metres out. 15 in from touch. Gets it away nicely. Hits the upright. Bounces back. There's still a chance. Saylor was alert for Queensland. Now the Maroons, faced with the daunting task of bringing it away. That is young Matt Singh. Played there by Hearn. Langer's ball is away there for O'Neill to give it on. Light stepping from Coyne. He's on the 20-metre line. Quick play the ball. Queensland with Billy Moore now, reaching the 30-metre line. Langer cuts out Larson, goes round the back. Julian O'Neill. Now that's the turnover, so they don't know that they heard the call.
Well, obviously Julian O'Neill didn't. He's going to play the ball there, and that's a bad mistake from Queensland. The noise of the crowd makes it difficult to communicate at times. He didn't get the message, and now the Blues on the attack.
Dean Pay celebrating his birthday today in the New South Wales second row. Big defence on Lazarus. Then for Johns. Cut-out ball through Harrigan to Fittler. Fittler picks up Muir. Loses the ball, and Walters has got it for the Maroons.
was very effective for them in Brisbane, running the crisscross for Adam Muir up the centre. It nearly opened a hole on that occasion, but this is a different Queensland side. This is a different game to the first one we saw. Much more intensity, and already the confidence in Queensland throwing the football around far superior to what we saw for the full 80 minutes.
We've already seen one offload from this guy, Andrew G. About one more than we saw in the first Origin match.
Well, that's a wicked play the ball.
Tunnelball.
Steve Walters watched it go past like a speeding bullet. I don't think Andrew G's ever played the ball as quickly in his life. Wendell Saylor. 42 metres out from the Blues line. Tackle number 5 for Langer. Off the right foot. He keeps it low. He directs it between fullback and winger. And then Brasher brings it back to be met by Mark Coy. Mullins is the dummy half. Wishart comes across from the right wing. Another of the players that was under a cloud coming into the game yesterday. Tuvey there. Picking up David Furner. Furner's tackled on his own 20-metre line. 10.5 minutes gone in Origin 2. Harrigan confronted by Langer. Thorne around the legs was the chief tackler. And then we show you field position again as the Blues bring it out towards the halfway line on 5. And Lazarus for Tuvey to give back and Johns to run away from Renoff. Renoff appealing to the referee for a shepherd. Saylor has had a lot to do. 3 of the New South Wales defencemen put him down. Capacity crowd at Rugby League headquarters. They've seen a great start. Penalty goes to Queensland. They're always fast Origin matches, Stephen Roach, but this one is exceptionally fast.
Yeah, this is twice as quick as the first one, as you already mentioned. The thing about the Queensland defence, in the first game, New South Wales were allowed to stand in tackles. There hasn't been one New South Welshman running with the ball that's been able to stand in that tackle. He's been getting smashed over the top by the Queenslanders.
So Tony Hearn. About 15 metres out from the line. Now his front row partner, Andrew G. Walters looking for Langer. Langer on the right, and then Thorne. Now they go back, and O'Neill switches it for Saylor. Saylor put down 12 metres out from the New South Wales line. And Walters for Langer. Inside ball for Larson. Harrigan slow to his feet. Langer. Langer's at his most dangerous around here. Thankfully for New South Wales, he's out of this play as O'Neill goes to the air. It's a great kick. Brasher was equal to it, though.
Well, I'll tell you how well Tim Brasher did there. He couldn't get a front row forward or a forward close to the ruck area, so he went into the front line to take up a defensive position. Then he had to turn around and chase to cover the kick. Did it superbly and still got back to the 20-metre mark first to take the tap.
Daly and Mullins. Penalty goes to the Blues.
Well, there's plenty of fire there. Fatty Vaughton wouldn't be too happy with the penalty given away, but the boys are at least fired up. Andrew G coming in there a little bit late. At least they're having a dig.
So still no score, 13 minutes gone. Andrew Johns finding the line, 32 metres away from the Queensland line. They go across the park, and Dean Pay is met by the Queensland defence. Centralising play. Tuvey there for Harrigan. Harrigan will play it just outside the 20-metre line. Tuvey picking up David Furner. Centre of the park. The choice of either direction to go. Johns in for Fittler. Out for Daly. Across for Mullins. Mullins! The ball goes to ground. It's back with Queensland.
Well, Alan Langer, the man in cover there, may have grabbed Tim Brasher a bit early as he received the ball.
But he certainly saved the day. Andrew G heading towards the sideline now.
Hanson says play on. The Blues appeal. Brett Dallas. And they're good yards. Excellent run by Brett Dallas. Queensland now with New South Wales on the back foot. O'Neill almost losing it. Playing in his 7th origin tonight. And then for Langer to keep it low again. Brasher back inside his own 10-metre line. Mark Coyne. Solidarity in the centres in defence with Coyne and Renouf.
Despite the fact that the defence has been ferocious tonight, ball control is great as Rod Wishart makes a similar run to that of Brett Dallas at the other end to pick up 10 or 15 metres. Steve Roach, I'm just wondering, having a look at the kicking game, Alan Lower kicking very low. Is there any breeze out there favouring either side?
No, there's not at the moment. It's just slightly favouring Queensland at this time.
That's Adam Muir. Brett Mullins, a little problem there. One of his fingers was dislocated. It's been put back in. Andrew Johns looking for the line. Matthew Singh lets it go. One will go down on the far side. Queensland's loose head and feet.
It's a good kick, considering the chase from Gary Larson all over Andrew Johns. He's got away a good one there. It's always a sign of the enthusiasm the players chasing kicks. I think the Blues have really started to drop off Alan Langer. We'll see next time he has a clearing kick to put on.
The kick actually went under the arm of Gary Larson. I think Andrew Johns is the best kicker in general play that I've seen in the last 10 years. Seems to have time. Even when there's pressure on him, he still manages to get away the good kick. Queensland win the scrum and take play 25 out. Wendell Saylor up from fullback to first receiver.
Saylor able to feed it back for Steve Walters to make some ground. Now Langer. Larson's with him. Oh, Larson. Accepted by Muir and Daly. Now Hearn. There comes the ball, and the Blues have got it. And referee Manson has ordered a knock-on.
I assume he's ordered a double knock-on here.
Well, no, he said the ball from Tony Hearn has gone backwards. He may be correct as well. And it's a Maroons feed.
Well, I couldn't see the second knock-on. I don't think there was one.
No,
I think you'll find that he's ruled the New South Wales player knocked it out of Tony Hearn's grasp. And it was that he ruled as the knock-on. And this is Billy Moore now. 45 metres away from the New South Wales line. No score in Origin 2, the 47th plan. Brad Thorne playing in only his second Origin. Larson. And Kevin Walters is preparing to come on in jumper number 15. Saylor. Infield ball for O'Neill. Langer was with him. Now the last. Langer to the blind side. A little kick and Brasher was there waiting for it. He's been beautifully positioned, Brasher.
I'll tell you what it does with a player in form as well as Tim Brasher was playing. It gives your front line of defence so much confidence. Well, there's an offside penalty against Queensland. Laurie Daly with a quick tap.
Daly, a run of about 18 metres to the halfway line. Then for John. To the right for Fittler. Eddinghausen comes in field. Fittler a dummy. That is David Furner. And a penalty has been given here to New South Wales. It's a high shot on Andrew G. Kevin Walters is coming on. And Matt Singh is going off.
Well, that will mean that Wendell Saylor will go on to Matt Singh's wing. I'd imagine that Julian O'Neill drops back to fullback. Kevin Walters slots into the 5'8" position. As we see the head on there of Andrew G. Can go high in a tackle, Andrew G, and sometimes they go a little bit wrong. in this day and age, there will always be a penalty.
And Brett Mullins now with strapping on that left wrist. Just wondering whether that strapping was not for the dislocated finger, but it looks more to be a wrist problem. So Andrew Johns now from 36 metres out, almost directly in front. First points of the game. Are they coming? There goes the kick. And again, the flags are down. So 2 shots at goal for Andrew Johns, both unsuccessful. $20-metre drop kick. Restart. Paul Wharton, of course, unable to take Julian O'Neill off. And there's been nothing wrong with his first 15 minutes either, but he is their kicker. Now Fittler.
I wonder if Phil Gould will be considering Rod Wishart as a goal kicker. Andrew Johns has kicked well this year, but they were relatively easy shots, the 2 he's missed.
Harrigan with a strong run, and again another penalty has been given to the Blues. Langer goes over to talk to David Manson. Well, Andrew Johns will take another shot, and again from right in front.
Well, it was a big swinging arm there from Tony Hearn. Not sure whether that was what the penalty was for or holding down. Could have been either, really. Been very strong, Tony Hearn, in this game so far. I do think that he is revelling in the conditions with the fact that Andrew G, another specialist prop, is taking some pressure off him.
Well, what will it do to Andrew Johns' confidence if he misses this one? 22nd minute. 0-0. 38 metres out. This time, he's got it. Andrew Johns raises the flags and the Blues lead 2-0. Taking us into the next passage of play. Andrew Johns with 1 success from 3. 2-0 New South Wales. And that came at the 22nd minute. Harrigan underneath is Larson. Over the top was G and Walters, who made that tackle. And here's Johns now making a break. Eddinghausen was on his right. Tuvey. Fittler. Long pass for Muir. Flick pass for Brasher. Basketballed out for Brett Mullins. Mullins is met there and held by Kevin Walters and Brett Dallas. Just a few metres into Queensland's territory from Daly. Then for Dean Fay. So the kick is coming off the boot of Brad Fittler. Right across the ground. Oh, Wishart! Wishart put the pressure on, and Queensland have taken it over the line.
And there's Rod Wishart flying down that right touch line. Julian O'Neill cursing himself, but he's done the right thing. No chance there to stay into play if he had taken this one.
Oh,
he hit the deck, and look at the slide.
I'll tell you, Wendell Saylor was very slow to react as well. He didn't give Julian O'Neill much help at all on that occasion, apart from a pat on the back after O'Neill took the football. I was a bit surprised that Wendell Saylor was moved to the wing because he was going very well with his involvement close to the ruck. Here's a chance of a little bit of aggression to be let off by both sides.
Now, hang on. David Manson has sent one of them to the sin bin.
Steve Walters has gone.
It is Steve Walters who's been sent to the sin bin.
Oh, Manson not even waiting for the touch reports there. He obviously saw what happened in the scrum, was very confident, immediately sending Steve Walters there, and it looks like a Blues penalty.
I'm just wondering whether Steve Walters may have been given
the sin bin for abusive language? No, we're told from the sidelines that it was using the head, a form of head-butting in the scrum. So now, John, Queensland reduced to 12 men. Dean plays. Forced back, 10 metres out, 11 metres out now. Tooby, Fittler goes from left to the right. Fittler puts it on the chest of Wishart. Queensland have come up with it. Big tackle by Saylor on Wishart. To the blind side for Brad Thorne.
And obviously now it's important for Queensland to have as much possession as possible in the 10 minutes. But they are the one player short. He was under some pressure, Rod Wishart, coming onto the football. So they've got to work their sets of 6. Can't give away cheap possession and don't kick earlier than the last tackle. Things like penalties help.
Penalty to Queensland, and that's the 11th penalty in the game.
Well, they needed that one. The Blues have had about 4 on the trot. Queensland now, they'll take their time as well to eat up some of that, well, that 10-minute sin bin time that Steve Walters is off the field for.
And here comes Steve Menzies, the strike player, on for Dean Pay. Dean Pay's worked hard hitting the ball up. Now they've got Steve Menzies on after 25 minutes when the defence might be just a little bit more vulnerable.
O'Neill with the line finder. And Larson takes it up.
Right.
Back in his second row position tonight.
Just quickly, I don't think it's any coincidence that Menzies is on while the opposition are down a player in defence either. Smart move by Gould.
Andrew G tackled on the halfway line. Billy Moore sending Tony Hearn up to the 40-metre line. Now Langer comes down the blind side with Brad Thorne. Daly has been strong in defence on the left side of the ground. This is Julian O'Neill. And 5 tackles have gone now. 28 metres out from the line. Langer. The kick is across. It's looking for Saylor. The bounce of the ball. Renoff goes over, puts the ball down. And it's a try. Oh! Queensland are in.
Great kick, Alan Langer. But you've got to compete, and Wendell Saylor did just that. Interesting to see if he got his hands to the ball. The crossfield kick, no chance for Tim Brasher to get there. It's all left for Rod Wishart. Saylor clutches at it, must have missed it. And Renoff cleaning up, Eddinghausen can't stop him.
Yeah, he put a ball up in the air at this end of the field and it's a lottery. It went straight through the arms of Rod Wishart. Even though he's under pressure, he probably should have taken it at this level of football. And Steve Renoff, he was there to pick up the scraps to take Eddinghausen across the line. So what a bonus for the Maroons to score a try while they've got a man off the field.
The turn's so quick, doesn't it? On the backs of that penalty, relieving penalty the Maroons got earlier. A simple play.
Second try in Origin football for Steve Renoff, the man they call the Prince of Centres these days. The Pearl. Julian O'Neill. 10 metres in from touch. And a fairly sombre look on the New South Wales bench. That decision by Manson and his in-goal judge. It was touch and go, but looking at the replays, they got it right. O'Neill, 19 out. Looks okay. Straight between the uprights, it's a beauty. 6-2 Queensland now. Loose ball back for Gary Larson to take it now to the 30-metre line. 6 points to 2. Queensland over the Blues at the half-hour mark now.
And with Steve Walters off the field as Brad Thorne makes a good charge, it's Billy Moore who's taken over the duty of dummy half. Gives the ball to Langer, throws a dummy. Alan Langer, Badge, has run more in this first 20 minutes or 30 minutes of football than I've seen him run in a long, long time.
While his forwards are getting some yards forward, it gives him that momentum. They're making quick play the balls. And when Steve Walters gets back on the field, he might cash in as well. I'm sure Alfie is revelling in the fact that Andrew G, Brad Thorne, Tony Hearn are making some good yards up the middle.
Eddinghausen there. Now with Adam Muir. New South Wales on their own 30-metre line. It's with the captain.
Steve Menzies lurking out on the right.
Tooby goes up the centre.
I think that's about the first time that Tooby's been able to make such a charge. We'd seen half a dozen in the first game, so the defence from Queensland is far different.
That kick down the ground by Andrew Johns. Several of the Blues were in front of the kicker. And Saylor picked up on the shoulder of Steve Menzies. Kevin Walters. This is Renoff. Billy Moore, a dummy half. 6-2 Queensland. Hearn. G. Short ball. That's O'Neill. And a penalty goes to Queensland. Ainscough is on for the Blues, and he brought the penalty against them. 7-5 penalties in favour of New South Wales. 6-2 scoreboard in favour of Queensland. 32nd minute coming up.
Well, that ball from Andrew G wasn't a great one. Julian O'Neill nowhere to go, but he has got a penalty. It's been one of the differences, though. A lot of support for the Queensland ball carriers. Early tackle count. Billy Moore doing a lot of that work.
So here they come again. Queensland taking it up just inside the Blues' 30-metre line. Billy Moore picking up Brad Thorne. Now one more to the left, and Jason Smith is on. Smith is on in 16 for the Maroons, then for Langer. Now for Walters. Beautiful pass for Coyne. Coyne taken by Ainscough and Fittler. On the Blues' 10-metre line from Renoff. Walters, Langer, inside ball for Billy Moore. Accepted and put away by Johns. The last tackle, and it's rolled into the in goal by Walters. And batted over the dead ball line by Mullins. Queensland will get it back.
Safety first from Brett Mullins there. I'm not sure that he needed to. The momentum of the ball. Well, I thought it may have gone over the dead ball, but with a couple of metres to go, he wasn't going to take any risks.
It's just very clever play from Queensland, just keeping the pressure on. And they'll have another set of 6, and I would imagine the same kind of play at the end of this if they can't score a try. Very difficult to hold out your opposition for 18 tackles.
Oh, Larson ran into a big tackle from Adam Muir. This is Andrew G doing the job that Paul Vaughton wanted from him. Billy Moore with a big run. 10 metres out from the line. Langer. Then for Jason Smith. Larson. Langer. Alan Langer probing. The last. Moore. Walters. The cross kick. Looking for Saylor. He'll have the jump. Down they come. Brasher. Brasher comes away with it.
Well, it's good play from Kevin Walters. Rod Wishart already having trouble under the high ball. Saylor just couldn't handle it. And looking for big yards now, and this is where they haven't been as effective, the Blues, as the first game.
The Blues then with Daly. Eddinghausen, oh, it's gone behind Wishart. Queensland will have the feed and the loose head.
Wishart is claiming that it was touched by Wendell Saylor as Steve Walters rejoins. Did very, very well Laurie Daly there to position Andrew Eddinghausen to give the overlap to his side. Watch the way he waits for him. Draws the man, puts him outside. Wishart has claimed that Saylor's touched it, but I don't think the referee agrees.
No, it's fallen on deaf ears, Peter. Langer just soaking up a bit of time. They're back to their full complement now. And Kevin Walters gets a decoy from Sailor. Good hands by O'Neill. Coyne uses Dallas, and Dallas goes back into the midfield. Kevin Walters finds himself a dummy half. No markers. So Dallas picks up another 10 metres. Steve Walters. Cross into the hands of Billy Moore, and down he goes. Menzies and Lazarus. A bell ring up. Then Langer. Now away for Walters. And Steve Walters has put down 10 metres out from the line. Andrew G's pass for Langer. Langer for Larson. It goes to ground, and he's going to play the knock-on.
Well, Jamie Ainscough has come up with a very important tackle here. It looked like it might have been a touch high, a shake of the head from Gary Larson. There were numbers here for Queensland. This should show the tackle up nicely. He had to come in and make the tackle, Ainscough. Now it's a great shot where the ball was.
So the Blues trailing 6-2, winning the scrum, back on their end 10-metre line. 5-1 the handling errors. New South Wales on the deficit side of that. Brasher. Tuvey using Dean Page. 3 Queenslanders involved in the tackle. Billy Moore, Kevin Walters, Gary Larson, then Lazarus. Out to the 40-metre line.
They're a lot tighter around the play. The ball, the Queensland defenders. Jeff Tuvey's had really no chance to make any yards. Well held there, Dave Furner.
Away from Menzies, a dummy half. And Fittler it is, with the right-footed kick. Bouncing between O'Neill and Sailor. And here comes the big fellow, but not going anywhere on this occasion. Eddinghausen, good chaser of the football. Dallas. Just beyond the 20-metre line. Stephen Walters. Valuable meters. 32 metres out from his own line. Down the blindside corridor goes Andrew G now. Almost to the halfway line. They're making more and more meters as we come up to approach half-time. 5th tackle now. And Kevin Walters tries something, and the Blues come away with it. Menzies down the right of the ground. Eddinghausen kicks into the centre, and Kevin Walters will be back there to clean it up.
Well, he's given a penalty for being tackled without the football, Andrew Eddinghausen, but again, it must have been a very close thing. A bad kick from Kevin Walters, giving possession away, and straight away the Blues swoop.
The strength of Queensland has been kicking into the corners and putting the high balls up, and Kevin Walters just straying from the game plan there.
So, 1 3/4 minutes to the break. The Blues with a chance. Tuvey, Menzies. Tackled just inside the 10-metre line. Tuvey looking at Fittler on the blind, Johns on the open. Then for Daly, now for Furner, then Eddinghausen, now Wishart, and Wishart Crawford. There's the Blues try. New South Wales have levelled up at 6 points all.
Great hands from the Blues. There's this error earlier on. The Kevin Walters kick that just didn't get any height to it. Straight to Daly. But it's from here the Blues set it up. O'Neill, the late tackle on Andrew Eddinghausen. Well, he had to really make it to stop a try, but while the vision, the players out wide, knowing they've got a man over, the Maroons just can't cover up. There's Wendell Sailor trying his hardest to slide. He's got no support, able to get there quick enough on the inside, and Wishart some good footwork to make that shot at goal a lot easier.
Well, it was a very short line from Queensland as we freeze played there. This man, Wendell Sailor, is the widest player. There is still another player outside this New South Wales attacker as play continues. And really, with the amount of space on the outside, New South Wales had to score. It just meant it had to be good hands. Good footwork there from Rod Wishart. But they really did have a condensed line, Queensland. I don't think they had to be that tight.
Well, I'm not sure Steve Reynolds should have come in. Billy Moore on his inside.
I've also got to say, I didn't think it was a penalty on the tackle on Eddinghausen.
I think he's a very hard marker. I think it was a tough call on Julian O'Neill's tackle. Johns converts the try, and at half-time, the Blues grab the lead. New South Wales by 2. Wishart scoring on the bell at half-time. Queensland had scored the earlier try, and 8 points to 6 at the break. Great half of football. As we take you to this break, we're coming back to the Sydney Football Stadium in just a moment. We'll have a look at that first half in retrospect. This is the exclusive coverage on the 9 network of State of Origin 2.
Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, New South Wales leading Queensland 8-6 in the second State of Origin. Very enjoyable, a lot of intensity, and, well, it has 2 points.
And New South Wales fortunate to be in front, Ken. I really think that the Queensland side have been the better team for the first 40 minutes, and it just shows how close things are in State of Origin. One bad kick from Kevin Walters, they've been punished, and all of a sudden the scoreline changes.
Well, we all thought when Steve Walters was sin-binned that Queensland had a real problem, but they turned it into a positive. But let's take a look at that incident.
Well, they actually put points on the board while Steve Walters was in the sin bin. Now, the charge has been the use of the head. Let's have a look here. And it was his first movement. You can see the way that Andrew Johns has reacted to that, and so too the referee David Manson. He had no hesitation in marching Steve Walters for 10 minutes. So he obviously saw something that he thought was fairly serious, and the use of a head is. And Andrew Johns here, he can't get into the scrum. Tries to get in the second time. Unfortunately, things did not erupt too much after that. The referee got control fairly quickly. There's Paul Harrigan having a few words to Tony Hearn. Also wants to make sure that Steve Wallace doesn't get close to his Newcastle teammate. And there's the 10-minute signal. As I pointed out, it wasn't too long for Phil Gould to get Steve Menzies into the action, because with Queensland one player out of their defensive line, Menzies was the kind of player you would think might be able to benefit.
And little Alfie there having his bit to say, but as it turned out, a couple of minutes later, they were down the other end. Steve Renouf picked up the high ball after a bit of a spill by Wishart, and they are in. A bonus.
28 metres out from the line. Langer. The kick is across. It's looking for Sailor. The bounce of the ball. Renouf goes over, puts the ball down, and it's a try. Whoa!
Critical of Queensland's kicking game in the first match. It's been much better tonight. And these are good kicks in your opponent's danger area. They are a lottery. And on this occasion, the bounce favoured Queensland. It didn't do so when Steve Menzies was able to score up in Brisbane. This time Steve Renouf swooped on the ball. He was the closest man to it. And he came up with a very important try because it gave, although they'd had pressure on, they hadn't converted that into points, and that finally did so.
Well, New South Wales got the breaks just a couple of minutes before half-time. It all went their way. They got, as you said, probably a fortunate penalty, and they found the numbers out wide, a nice little overlap, and in they went. It was Wishart's try.
And Fittler on the blind, Johns on the open, then for Daly, now for Furner, then Eddinghausen, now Wishart, and Wishart Crawford. There's the Blues try.
Yeah, I really didn't think that they should have had the opportunity to put this try on. I thought the tackle was allowed to have been made on Eddinghausen leading up to this, but it was good, quick hands. Very important that they had an extra player out there in David Furner. Both Furner and Adam Mule like to patrol out in the back line. They do it very, very well. But as I pointed out once again, Wendell Sailor was almost next to the goalpost, so he had a lot of territory to cover, and New South Wales had 3 players or 4 players outside him when they started throwing the football.
Well, it'd be nice to be a fly on the wall in the dressing rooms right now. What would be going on? 2 points separating both teams, not a lot in it. And there's, of course, Chris Close, the G-up man with all the passion.
Well, they've got to be bitterly disappointed, Queensland, because they should lead this game. And really what they've been able to do tonight is to turn the things that were weaknesses for them in the first game into positives. The dummy half work has been great. We've seen Jeff Tuvey make maybe 1-2 darts. Queensland have made much more territory out of that area, and they've really been able to turn things around. New South Wales, I felt, lacked a little bit of intensity after the first 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe they thought that, well, OK, we're going well here. It's going to be a repeat of what happened in the first match. That hasn't been the case because Queensland have come back at them. I doubted that the Maroons were going to be able to do that, but they've proven me wrong. And a player like Tony Hearn, who I think has been close to the best on the field, has given them momentum, and they've gone to their back line, something they didn't do in Brisbane.
Well, whatever, there's been a few penalties. David Manson has tried to keep them apart, so he's done a pretty good job in that regard. And we've got one heck of a second half coming up right after the break. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, terrific crowd here tonight, and it's wonderful conditions and seeing a very, very good game. Right now, of course, it's New South Wales in front, 8 points to 6 at the break. And right now, of course, the voice of rugby league, Ray Warren, for the second half.
Thank you, Ken. And what a second half it promises to be. 40 minutes for Queensland to come back from the 2-point deficit and, of course, keep the series alive and take us to that decider at Suncorp Stadium in a fortnight's time. The Blues coming from the room now. Probably feeling just that little bit fortunate that they are in front. They capitalised on a Queensland mistake and also capitalised on what I thought was a fairly tough call by referee David Manson. But the tackle by Julian O'Neill on Andrew Eddinghausen. Jason Smith off the field again now. Adrian Lamb yet to be used as Queensland go down the tunnel. I'm just looking at the overall tackle count. New South Wales has been asked to make 118 tackles against Queensland's 87.
It's a big count, Ray. It's 5 sets of 6. It's because their kicking game has been very good. They've been prepared to be patient. They've put the ball into the in-goal area, been prepared to get the football back via the line dropout and have another go. And obviously their control has been far better, put the football in their hands than what we saw in the first match. In fact, you've got to say that the quality of football in this game has been tremendous. Not many drop balls at all, really.
Paul Wood just resuming his seat. He's been under a lot of pressure during the week.
That big change, Kevin Walters still on at 5'8", Wendell Saylor remaining on the left wing and Julian O'Neill at fullback.
Paul Harrigan did take the field and is now coming to the sideline. Whether the Blues were trying to get away with 14 players on the paddock. If they were, it didn't last too long.
So sit back and enjoy it. Here's the second half coming up. New South Wales by 2 as we go into the second half. Glenn Lazarus on his own 20-metre line. Now for Dean Pay. Second tackle. First set of 6. Second half. Practically a windless night in Sydney. Johns with a half break. 38 metres away from his own line. Tuvey then on for Fiddler and through to Daly and then wide for Eddinghausen and then coming back in as Wishart, but he's been well read. The Blues then with a quick play of the ball go onward and Fiddler was smothered by the Queensland defence. This is the last tackle. Daly
Charged down by Langer. Has he got support? Oh, he can't pick it up. Menzies goes away for New South Wales.
A real shame there, Alan Langer. A great individual play to charge that kick down. There was no one with him. He did the right thing by trying to dive on it, but just couldn't come up with it. His side now going to struggle. 6 more tackles.
Tuvey. John, he's causing some trouble, Andrew. He's opened them up a couple of times. Now for Fittler. Cuts out Daly, picks up Menzies. Menzies, 25 metres out, tackle 5. Brasher, Daly to the air. And a test for Queensland under the bomb now. Brasher back for pay, but it's come down. And a knock-on is ordered.
Tim Brasher, a little fumble that went forward into one of the Queensland players before he regathered it to give it to Dean Pay. But no one really competing there for the bomb apart from Brasher. Andrew G just stuck under it. See, there's the knock-on, hit G in the head. Good ruling from the referee.
So Queensland coming away from their own 20-metre line with Andrew G. Steve Roach, what did you find out at half-time?
Well, most of the talk in the New South Wales camp was don't let Queensland score the first try in the second half. It happened in Queensland. They don't want it to happen again. He said, stop giving away possession. We're letting them back into the game with our own mistakes. He said, don't stand off Langer. He's causing us all sorts of problems when they're down in our 20-metre line. He said, expect Menzies to run off Daly a bit more in this half. He reckons they're a potent combination together. And he said, look, this is the biggest game of our lives, boys. Go out and enjoy it and let's win the series.
Thank you, Steve. As the Blues through Jamie Ainscough, and a penalty to the Blues. Manson allowed it to go and then called them offside.
There's been plenty of penalties in this game. Really, Alan Langer hasn't caused him problems by making the bust himself, but by running the football, players around him have probably benefited more. So much emphasis on stopping Langer, he's attracting 2 and 3, and that opens up something for his teammates.
Lazarus is underneath that tackle. And here's Tuvey going from the 20-metre line. Inside the 10. Taken in by Ainscough. It's a try. The Blues have gone in on the far side of the ground. Mullins has scored for them.
Well, we mentioned that Jeff Tuvey wasn't having a lot of success out of dummy half. He's just thrown that out the window. They've gone to sleep on him. He's taken off down the blind side of the ruck and thrown the football to support players who finished it off beautifully. Just lazy play against him. The ball was a good one and well taken by Ainscough, and he just put it on to Mullins, who got over in the corner.
Tony Hearn and Andrew G there were almost obscured by the ref, but neither of them covering the right-hand side of the field. Tuvey looked like he might have gone over himself, but wisely offloaded to Ainscough, and then Mullins just diving over.
Yes, we have a look at the play of the ball. Just freeze it there. Have a look at the reactions of both of these two players for Queensland. There's a big gap on the other side of the ruck for Jeff Tuvey, and he's gone. Will-o'-the-wisp. That pass had to be a good one because Brett Dallas was in the vicinity, and Jamie Ainscough played very unselfishly. Probably could have had to go himself, but he put the ball onto Mullins, who had the space. It's a very pensive Paul Vaughton. He must have been fairly happy with his team at half-time. Would have thought they should have led the game. Bitterly disappointed to allow what is a soft try at State of Origin level.
2 from 4 for Andrew Johns. This time from the sideline. And just coming away. So no addition. 12-6 the Blues over the Maroons. From the kickoff. Lazarus is knocked on. Queensland winning the scrum, 15 out from the line. Saylor wrestling with Eddinghausen. Daly comes in to help. High drama here for the Blues. In front by 6. To the right for Langer to step off the right foot. Daly's there, smothers him into the ground. 15 metres out, centre of the park. To the right for Tony Hearn. Lazarus lifting himself now. He knows he put the team under the pressure. G works with Billy Moore. driven into the ground. Renoff dives on it, but it's all gone forward.
Well, they're all patting Steve Menzies on the back. Another error for Paul Vorton to contend with. It was a good tackle, and he's made some real solid hits. Here's a Lazarus mistake from the kickoff that you won't see happen too often. With Billy Moore looking to offload in a solid Menzies tackle.
Well, I'm just wondering, was it a knock-on? I thought in throwing it back, the New South Wales player might have pushed it back behind his own line, and Steve Renoff, he was claiming a try. Another one of those tight decisions that we'll have a look at after the game, but it's play on at the moment, and no joy for Queensland again.
Heavy artillery coming in from Queensland. These tackles are really hurting. Now, Fittler takes it out. He's under that tackle from Thorne. Thorne and Hearn, I think they put three together from Marker. Daly's kick clears. We're back on the 10-metre line. Queensland's in. O'Neill taken by Wishart. Saylor with a long pass out for Walters. Look at that tackle by Menzies. It's the portion of his game that doesn't get a lot of reps. 48th minute. Hearn. Ainscough. Riding the big man into the ground. Steve Walters. Good run over halfway. Lazarus and Fay combining on 5. Now they go to the blind side. Langer. Cross kicks. Back in between the winger and the fullback, Richard. Played at the football. They're all onside. He's away. Wishart right down the centre. Penalty against Queensland now.
And Steve Walters, I think, has been penalised for holding on to the Rod Wishart before he played it. He's puzzled. It's a great break from Wishart. The little things like this are what gets your team on the front foot again. Wishart beating Billy Moore before Andrew G tackles him. Can't see a problem with that one, Sterlo.
I think the referee's ruled at your way that he did touch the player and also went to the side of the ruck area. I don't see a lot of percentage in that play, really. It's great when it comes off, but more often than not, it is a penalty.
Tony Hearn in their second half. He's pulled off some great tackles. Now they come to the right for Johns to combine with Eddinghausen. 35 metres out from the Queensland line.
Even this early on, out Ray, I wouldn't be surprised if they think field goal. Force your opponent to have to score twice, and they've got some good exponents of the drop kick in their team, the Blues.
It's with Johns. And then a short pass for Eddinghausen. He's got players left and right. He slides over. Is he over the line, though? No, he's not. Manson says fifth tackle.
Well, he's bombed that. Menzies on the inside was unmarked.
Now it's going to Johns. He cross kicks. Up they go, Mullins. Mullins. He scores his second try.
Well, it should have been one play earlier. Gary Belcher pointed out that Steve Menzies was unmarked on the inside of Eddinghausen. This should show it up. He did great there, Andrew Johns. He attracted two defenders. We saw Menzies go back on the inside there. It looked as though the momentum had to take him across. In fact, his head ended up over the line. The ball was short. And then the cross kick. Now, the adjudication on offside on this is from the touch judge. It's not the referee, and he has signalled that the players, the chasers, Brett Mullins, are onside.
And that picture from the high camera catches the touch judge with the arm up, pointing in a forward direction. That tells the centre man that they're onside. Mullins won't score too many easier than that. The jubilation for the Canberra fullback. Gets his second try.
And if he was onside rate, it was a millimetre. And there is also some talk that Andrew Eddinghausen may have lost the football in the tackle when he played the football to go into this one. So, plenty of drama. But not for New South Wales, because they've got the points on the board. They extend their lead to 10 with the kick to come.
Not going Queensland's way. We saw what may have been a try at the other end of Steve Renouf disallowed. Now a controversial one from the Blues.
Andrew Johns, 5 metres in from touch, 21 metres out. 16-6. The Blues over Queensland in front of a capacity crowd. The shot again has gone wide to the left. 16 points to 6. 10-point margin now.
Home blown.
10-point margin. Time not a problem. The margin might be. 52.5 minutes gone. Fettler turns it. Oh, Brasher was under extreme pressure.
Well, let's just have a look at this tackle on Andrew Ettinghausen. I'm almost certain that he drops the football, loses control of the football. There's the tackle, Sailor over the top. I think he's knocked on.
Well, he's lost it, and there is great tackle from Sailor and contention over whether Mullins was onside.
Strong tackle by Daly on Kevin Walters. And this is Brad Thorne. This is the biggest crowd State of Origin has attracted to the Sydney Football Stadium. 41,900 odd. And the penalty goes to Queensland. Langer telling Julian O'Neill to kick for touch.
Robbie Langer almost refuses, if there's any opportunity to score, to take a shot at goal. He feels his side needs to score, and they do very soon. Of course, 2 converted tries to take the lead.
Craig Greenhill is on in 17. Tony Hearn trying to pinch a valuable metre. And now they work some crosses. Thorne loses it. Manson said touch by the Blues. Play on. He's nullified the tackle count. Sailor. 3 metres out from the line. Away from Walters to Langer. Then for Kevin Walters and then back for Mark Coyne. He knows that part of the field well, Mark Coyne. Back now for Langer. Renouf coming up on his outside. They've lost about 20 metres on that play. Kevin Walters, 15 out. Centre of the park. Walters and Langer. Langer loses it.
That's a double knock on there. I never thought I'd ever say it, but I do think Alan Langer's probably run the football too much tonight. The element of surprise has gone out of that part of his game. Steve Wallace here, the reverse pass. Not quite sure whether Alfie was expecting it. The frustration. Once again, they were in great position and a chance to get back into this match with time starting to run out.
Really hesitating before allowing the scrum to back down, and Tuvey, the longer the game goes, the more he's starting to run. Harrigan, one of 4 Newcastle players in the match. Here's another of them, Adam Muir. Now for Johns. Daly. Catch and pass. Menzies, Brasher. 35 metres away from their own line. Fittler. That might have been knocked down by Queensland. It went backwards. It'll be a scrum, according to Manson.
It'll be a Queensland feed. It's ruled that Brad Fittler has knocked on. I think that is, well, it was actually knocked out by Alan Langer. And Fittler's hand knocked it back out of Steve Walters. So good field position here, 40 metres out. The cut-out pass across Sailor to Kevy Walters. Good defence. 23 minutes left on the clock. They need to score pretty shortly.
This is Greenhill. The Blues' defence has been outstanding, Stephen Roach.
It certainly has, Ray. On the inside, especially, the hardest part about football is when the ball leaves you, is to stay alive on the inside. That's when the likes of Langer and Walters can carve you up. It just hasn't happened tonight for them. Blues defence, great.
Tony Hearn. Back for Steve Walters to go across for Alan Langer to run to the line. A buckling tackle from Menzies. Langer backed into the tackle. O'Neill puts the kick up. Sailor goes for it, pressure's there, and away goes Wishart.
Well, one more Queensland chase. It may have been a try. The ball obviously coming back off a Queensland hand. Wendell Sailor was the one, and Wishart's on the spot. Another opportunity. Gone begging for the Maroons.
Played by Adam Muir. Jeff Tuvey, another scurry. Continuing to take pressure or take some of the workload away from the bigger forwards.
Yeah, a good offload from Paul Harrigan. Probably not something we see enough of in his game, but the second phase work there was very good. Picked up another 12 metres. The last tackle now. They look for Fittler. Not a great deal of pressure coming through, and the left foot kick splits Sailor and O'Neill.
Julian O'Neill there. Put down rather gently in the final wash-up. Wendell Sailor. 1 hour, almost gone. Greenhill. Still no game time for Adrian Lamb.
Also for the Blues, Ray, no Jim Dimmick or Jason Croker into the action as yet. Phil Gould has gone with 15 players up to this day. It'll be interesting to see whether they will bring those two on in the last 10 minutes. Some fresh troops out there defensively might be just the order of the day.
Wishart bringing it back to the halfway line. And talking of Adrian Lamb, he gets ready to enter the game. Sloppy pass picked up by the dual try-scorer Mullen. Ainsko submitting in the tackle close to the touchline. Brasher on the halfway. 16-6. Still, there's enough time. It's the margin. John works with Muir, the Newcastle connection.
Just watching Brad Fittler here reminds me so much of Wally Lewis, just picking his mark while not playing the ball properly there. Adam Muir, he and Tuvey aren't very happy, but he didn't get to his feet.
He tried to milk the penalty, and I think it's a good penalty awarded here. Too many players in the game try and outfox the referee. I don't think Craig Greenhill had any chance to get out any quicker than what he was trying to.
Phil Gould is already the most successful New South Wales coach in Origin history. And tonight he's trying to equal the record held by Arthur Beetson of 4 Origin Series wins. He's on line for that. Brad Thorne, 38 metres out from the line. As Queensland mount another attack. Larson. A gain of 10 metres. Lamb, a dummy half. Langer reached out for it. Walters sliding under the tackle. Johns eventually secures with Harrigan. Back for Alfie Langer to come back with the kick. It's come down for Lamb, but it's a penalty to the Blues. He's ruled that the player that got involved in the jump
was in front of the kicker.
Well, let's have a look here at the Langer kick. Yeah, there are some players, at least one in front of him. And you don't have to be involved, you just have to be within the 10 metres of where the ball comes down.
Here comes Jason Croker now. Adam Muir leaving the field. Amazing amount of penalties in this game, 18 in all.
Incidentally, on David Manson, he's doing his 8th Origin tonight. And in the 7 previous Origins, he's given 41 penalties apiece. So that'll give you an idea of how the penalty count is up in this match. 16 is Croker. And then Tuvey away for Harrigan to go. Oh! Greenhill has taken Harrigan high, and he has been sent off.
Well, a clumsy shot from Craig Greenhill. You've got to feel for the young man. But he probably didn't leave much. It's down in the referee's mind as to what the penalty should be. Paul Harrigan still down.
Well, that's an unenviable position for Craig Greenhill. He's become the first ever State of Origin player sent off. But it's an out-and-out high shot. A little bit of a duck there from Harrigan. The way he bent back made it look perhaps a bit worse than it was.
That would go down in my mind as the second worst I think I've seen since Willie Kahn went down at Steelers Stadium. I don't know that Paul Harrigan is as badly injured as Willie Kahn, but it looked bad.
Well, I think Paul Harrigan could be as badly injured because it was a send-off offence. He went in, it was a swinging arm, it was a stiff arm. He bent the body of Harrigan back, and that's a mean feat in itself. Just have a look at how Harrigan finishes. I think the referee's got it right there. I feel sorry for Craig Greenhill, but he was the one that committed the offence.
Well, the chief, Nathan Gibbs, the New South Wales doctor, very concerned. And Glenn Lazarus is preparing to come on. I think the thought might be that we should get him out of there. We're flirting with the danger that we don't really need to. 12-7 the penalties in favour of the Blues. Queensland with 12 men. Well, they performed a miracle here a couple of years ago. They've been in some tight jams. Can they get out of this?
Well, a real difficult task for them now. You'd almost say Queensland can't win with 12 men needing to score twice. I'm sure Alf and the boys would like to think otherwise.
Cross from Johns to the left of the park. Daly is there looking inside for Brasher. The 20-metre line underneath Daly when he's allowed to play it. Ainscough for Croker. Jason Croker on 5. 15 out from the line. John waits it in. And beautifully read by Matt Singh. Struck through prematurely. It's a penalty for the Maroons. Back on their own line.
Just feel very sorry for Craig Greenhill. There have been some serious incidents in Origin football that will never penalise that harshly. Les Boyd on Darryl Broman with the elbow a few years ago. Even Big Blocker once on Bobby Lindner.
Yeah, that was accidental, Batch. He told me. Well, it's a lonely figure, isn't it? I doubt whether Craig Greenhill will ever have such an empty feeling in the rest of his football career.
Kevin Walters forced back. Queensland very much with the scale swinging against them. 12 men, 10 points down. Adrian Lamb. Dallas. Langer. Kick between Wishart and Brasher. Brasher in scintillating form. 40-metre line underneath him now as Wishart goes away.
One try scored by the Maroons. They went over the top. Harrigan takes it up and the crowd love it. Now Daly. Then Eddinghausen. Eddinghausen! Will he get it right this time? Wishart is tackled by Singh. The Blues on the attack. They want it wide on the left. Daly. Heard it back onto the blind side. Toovey rolls it in. And it's been watched over the dead ball.
Again, it was the class of Laurie Daly that opened up the Queensland defence. Andrew Eddinghausen coming from behind him. Just watch this, he'll attract two defenders. He brings Steve Renouf in once again. And then big Andrew G was no chance against Eddinghausen. Great cover defence coming across from Jason Smith and Singh.
Well, Eddinghausen's having a big game out wide. What he does so well, he looks like he's going to drop off on the inside of the players, as he did then with Laurie Daly, and then he turned up at the last minute on the outside. Just caught the Queensland defenders napping.
Pass is loose. Saylor takes it and Dean Fay takes him. Just on Andrew Eddinghausen, of course, he's been made to play a lot of his representative football on the wing. And I guess that was to necessitate the presence of the big fella, Mal Meninga. But he's in the centres for New South Wales these days. And he's playing magnificently. But none better than this man, Brasher. Just inside his own 20-metre line. We've got about 12 minutes of the origin left. The series, is it about to be wrapped up by the Blues? You'd take short prices to say yes. Ainscough.
And I do hope that Jim Dimmick does get a run off the bench in this last 12 minutes.
You speak, Nostradamus?
I think it's a good thing. It's nice that all 17 players will share in this, and Dimmick will have an impact in the last 10 minutes. I think this man's been the best, Andrew Johns.
No, I know Steve Roach has been almost amazed at the improvement of Andrew Johns during this series.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. I thought last season when he was first picked in State of Origin, he was a bit overwrought, but he's every bit as elusive as Fittler and Daly, I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you what, Block, until I look at the tape of the first game, and he's as tough as any player running around. Some of the hits he came up with in defence on bigger men, I had to look twice to make sure that it was him.
I'll tell you what, some of the clean-up work he's done from down here, watching it right on the ground, the way he covers the ground, he's, as you said, he's got no fear of taking people over the top. Don't worry about that.
Queensland struggling here to make some yards forward. That's been the big difference in the first half. They found a lot of holes, got some good momentum, but really, they've gone nowhere. 30 metres and Alfie Langer with a lot of pressure on the kick.
8 out of the 10 games played here at the SFS have ended with a margin of 8 points or less. It's looking as though this one will not fit into that category. Saylor with a couple of femmes, reaching the 30-metre line. There's the scoreboard. 26 and 20 for Queensland. Knock on. Forward pass. Taking eyes off the game to look at that statistical readout. Let me watch it.
Line ball.
Very much a line ball.
Jason Smith stepping back after he passed. Made it look more forward than it was. Academic now. Toovey with the feed and the Blues on the attack. Remembering still 12 men against them. Just gets harder and harder for the Maroons to keep digging in defence.
Daly now. Toovey. And then Harrigan. Back behind the play, the ball area. Paul Harrigan. 3 metres out from the line. A lofted pass for Johns. A low one for Fittler. A cut-out pass for Brasher. Brasher put down eventually. 15 out from the Queensland line. Dimmick was the pass forward to Pay. Then back for Dimmick. Fittler kicks. Ettinghausen and Menzies are after it. But Matt Singh, he spoils the party.
And a great kick from Fittler. Not much a fullback can do about this. Saylor has to get across towards the post in case he kicks it out wide. Beautifully placed, but Matt Singh, he's read it well.
Well, the series may have gotten away from Queensland, but I tell you what, that match in a fortnight is still going to have a lot of interest, given that this contest tonight, to me, has been a lot closer battle than it was at Suncorp a fortnight ago.
There's no doubt about that, Ray. It's been a much better game. The intensity level has been higher. The Queensland performance has been better. Again, it's just one of those mysteries of state of origin where you look at the margin is going to be greater.
Well, I think the fact that Queensland has started that first half so well really inspired the Blues to lift their performance. They've come back in this second half and shown some real class out wide.
Daly's past the brusher, then for Menzies. Menzies is held and brought back. Great defence by a depleted Queensland. Daly now. Harrigan puts it down.
Wendell Saylor at the back for Queensland just keeps cleaning up. He was involved in that tackle. Rasher there with the break. This pass back inside to Menzies, and Saylor head on with some help from Singh. He's been their best tonight, no doubt in my mind, Wendell Saylor.
Mark Coyne taken out of it, back on his own 10-metre line. Billy Moore. North Sydney teammate Gary Larson. Back he goes. The Blues lifting, if anything. Langer with the chip through. Gets another strike on it and another. Now Mullins turns around. He can't handle it. Dallas has got it. Now it's with Kevin Walters. He's put down. 6 more tackles, says Manson. The Maroons then with G. Then across from Thorne for Saylor. Then for Moore. And he's put away on the 40-metre line. Come down the blind side again. That is Thorne being wrestled into the ground. They've taken the ball off him. He must have lost it without any help. Daly goes away with it for New South Wales.
Well, Brad Thorne trying to slip a pass. He can't be blamed for that. Queensland really need 2 of those miracles we saw here a few years ago. I think it's just a little bit too late now for it.
David Furner! Furner's over the 40. There's support on the inside and the out. And Furner's run away from them. Manson will put a scrum down.
Now it's another bomb try. David Furner, he had probably had too much support. He didn't know where to go. Straight through the tackle of Kevin Walters. The best support player was on the inside, was Jim Dimmick. He tried to beat Wendell Saylor and then get one around the back of Brett Dallas. Probably would have been play on because it came off Dallas, but the kick from Croker too heavy.
Now penalty has been given here as we just watched the end of that replay. And I'm trying to work out what for. That Andrew Johns is going to take a shot at goal.
You assume it would have been one of the New South Wales support players being held out of the play. May well have been Brad Fittler. And that would come from a touch, Judge. Let's just have a look as Furner goes through.
Yeah, I think it was the player immediately on the left of Furner. It was Brad Fittler. You were right, Peter, but my goodness, there wasn't much in it.
Well, if he got to support him for another 15 metres after that, I can't believe that decision if that's what it was called for.
Well, you can take it for sure. That's what it was all about. Tell you what, they've marked them hard a couple of times in this match tonight. Here's Johns, and this one he strikes beautifully. 18-6. 75th minute. Two converted tries required in 5 minutes. And with 12 men,
You'd have to be brave enough to say that's impossible.
Well, I'm brave enough to say it, mate.
I knew you'd say it. I knew you'd say it, Nostradamus. Of course, with my record, I'm not game enough to say.
No, you could still get them beat. Phil Gould has set the message up for you to stay well and truly out of it. Gary Larson coming up with a tackle. And again, he and his North Sydney teammate, Billy Moore, have come up with over 50 tackles between them.
Well, no doubt be very disappointed, the Maroons, after this result, but their effort has been 100% better than the first game. Certainly Fatty Borton, I'm sure, won't be as disappointed with the way they've performed.
He'll be nice and disappointed with the loss of the series. Croker, the kick off the left foot under pressure was good. Saylor rushing away, or trying to, from Dimmick and Tuvey. Singh in off the left wing. Youngest player on the field is Matt Singh. Langer, 77th minute. Just looking at some of the statistics on this game. So many of them are equal. The average age is equal. The pack weight equal. The number of collective origin matches almost equal. Brad Thorne now. 18-6, that's not equal. 12 points the margin, the Blues. Langer now, waiting for a runner. Saylor, he can't take it, and the Blues are given the advantage by Manson. Fittler. Dimmick. Ozkygrouch and Andrew Voss will be out on the field to bring you a feel of what it's like at the end of this. Daly making a mistake, Larson giving it away, Coyne is with it over the halfway line, Brasher is with him.
And it's a rare mistake from Laurie Daly, who's been outstanding again tonight. And Andrew Eddinghausen has been the main recipient of that brilliance. Some scrappy play now to finish off this Origin match, cleaned up by E.T. Andrew Johns getting to dummy half, looking around to see where the best option is, and that is Paul Harrigan. Cross field, 42 metres out.
Just repeating that Craig Greenhill was sent from the field by referee David Manson for a high shot on Paul Harrigan midway through the second half. Furner. Now, Fittler. Held on to by Andrew G. And then Dimmick. And the pass goes over the sideline. And this scrum will barely have time to pack. Only seconds remaining. And at the end of this match, New South Wales will be one series win in arrears of Queensland since the Origin series started back in 1980. The brainchild of Senator Ron McCallum. What a magnificent success story it's been. Saylor. And then Renault. Harrigan makes the tackle. The crowd will take us out. There's the siren, it's all over. The 1996 series has been won by the New South Wales Blues, erasing the memories partially of a 3-0 drubbing last year by Queensland. And look at the New South Wales side. An emotional moment for them. Some of the megastars of the game
in that huddle, a downcast Alan Langer in contrast, but Daly and Fittler, players that have been to the top of the rugby league mountain, letting their emotions go. Ettinghausen, a great moment for them, and I think that emphasises a reunification of some of the separations that the game has endured in the last 12 months. Players able to show that this still remains one of the great rugby league pinnacles. Look at them. I love it. Gus Gould has equalled Arthur Beetson's record as the most successful Origin coach. And yes, he would have the Blues, but he'll get over it, and he'll be the first to congratulate them. Just short of 42,000 here tonight. It was the biggest crowd for an Origin contest at the Sydney Football Stadium. And the Blues fans, they can take a pat on the back. They've been vocal, they've enjoyed it, and to the best of my knowledge, they've been well behaved. Phil Gould, I think, saying to the players, go round the ground, enjoy it, soak it up. This is your series. '47th Origin clash. New South Wales have now won 21, Queensland 26. The series now comes back to Queensland 8, New South Wales 7. Mullins got 2 tries at the 43rd and 51st. Wishart scored at the 38th. Johns kicked 3 from 7. But Queensland ran off at the 27th a try. Julian O'Neill got 1 from 1. The penalties went 13-8 to New South Wales.
One thing the statistics don't say is the state of Origin football is back. Not a great game, the first, but certainly the Queenslanders made the Blues earn it tonight. They turned out, did what the coach asked. They played with some passion, some fire. And the Blues had to dig deep to pull that one out of the hat. They deserve it. Certainly a good effort.
Well, some great scenes of jubilation at the Sydney Football Stadium, and this massive crowd. I mean, wouldn't it be lovely if Sydney had a stadium that could take more than 42,000? They would be packed in here. Steve Roach is with the New South Wales captain. Yes, Steve?
Yeah, Brad Fittler, outstanding effort from the Blues tonight. Is that erase the memories from last year?
Mate, it was fantastic. I think an indication of how much the boys want to win. It was the last 20 minutes where we really dug in. We, had our backs against the wall there for a couple of sets of 6, and the boys just dug in. We really want to win it today.
Yeah, pretty dour sort of struggle in the first half, but the Blues got better as the game went on, didn't they?
Yeah, we started pretty lethargic. We had a good talk at half-time, and we come out a bit harder. And I think the increase of pace. I think Queensland, knows the difference. I think they couldn't keep up for a while.
What about the inside defence as soon as the ball was left? Langer and that had nowhere to go, did they? It was great defence.
That's right. The boys just kept sliding inside out, and they just did their job great. So, that's why we started Origin games.
Well, thanks for talking to us, mate. Join you too, mate. It's good on you.
Yeah, Brad Fittler, that young captain who has been, of course, at the helm 2 years in a row, and a great moment for him. He was on the end of that 3-0 drubbing by Queensland last year. His chance to taste victory. Laurie Daly has already tasted that. And of course, for our colleague Paul Wharton, his turn to
feel the pain of loss after an incredible year last year. 1996 then belongs to the New South Wales Tooheys Blues.
It's hard to find a bigger smile than Laurie Daly and Andrew Eddinghausen. Of course, those players missed the series last year. I think now they realise just how important it is to them. Glenn Lazarus, another one in that category.
Steve Roach is with Paul Harrigan.
Yeah, congratulations, mate. How'd that one feel after last year?
Oh, terrific. The thing about State of Origin, when you lose, it's for 12 months, and it feels like they've had a bear in our back for 12 months, and I tell you what, the lad's a little lighter right now.
What about Andrew Johns? What about the performance of him? How much has he improved in a year?
He's got a little bit of freakishness about him, you know, those kicks, and he's going to be a very great player. He's uncanny, and that's the beauty of him.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't realise it was a little bit wet underfoot. You had to make sure the tackles counted, and you did that in the second half.
Exactly right. It is Dewey, and with Alfie Langer, like with 15 minutes to go, he just can't give them 1 inch, and our defence was good, and that was probably the difference at the end.
Anyway, mate, go and enjoy it with your teammates. You deserve it. Well done.
Thanks, Bob.
Andrew Voss, I think he's got the New South Wales coach. Yes, Andrew?
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Phil Gould, after last year, we've spoken about the disappointment of a 3-0 result. You came here tonight to wrap up the series, exactly what the team has done.
Yeah, last year was a difficult time, you know, full credit to Queensland, but you know, to get everyone back together now in State of Origin, back to what it was, we've shown that this side has been developing for a couple of years. The players that played in that series last year probably played before their time, but the Adam Muirs and the Stephen Menzies and the Andrew Johns have really come of age now, and this is developing into a very good side.
Phil, the big thing about tonight, Queensland lifted markedly on game one, but so too did the Blues.
Well, we had to. We knew that. Game one is usually just a line in the sand, and then the series gets going. We knew they'd come out fired up. We mashed them in that area. The first half was very disjointed for us because we were in good attacking position, but kept getting penalty kicks at goal, which we had to take, while they were able to mount more pressure at our end. And just before half-time, we showed what we could do in their quarter when the set of 6 ran out. We knew at half-time if we could get some ball at their end of the field, we'd run in some tries. We got a couple, probably should have got a couple more.
Phil, even at 16-6 in the second half, you wanted the players to stay positive. Don't give Queensland a sniff.
No, well, you've got to get their good players making tackles. I mean, fellas like Renouf and Walters and Langer, if you let them relax in defence, they're going to be fresh for attack. And so we had to keep moving the ball around and making sure they were coming up with their tackles and getting back in defence, so that when they did get the ball, they were still puffing, you know.
Well, series win was goal number 1, now the shutout.
Yeah, well, you know, we've still got 1 to go. It's very, very important for this side that we show that we don't relax. We were very dominant in game 1. We were dominant again tonight. You know, it's up to us what the result will be in Queensland. It's whether or not we prepare ourselves well enough to go there.
Phil, congratulations.
Thanks, mate.
Andrew Voss there with the New South Wales coach Phil Gould, and he equalled tonight Arthur Beaton's record. Brett Mullins scored 2 tries. He's with Steve Roach now.
Yeah, congratulations, Brett, on the 2-try effort, mate. Must be a great feeling in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, well, this is my first time at the stadium in State of Origin. I mean, that was overwhelming, and to get 2 tries, you know, made it even better.
Can you tell us what it meant to you missing the series last year? Obviously, you would have been big.
Oh, I'm very disappointed, and to see the boys go down, well, that made it even worse. And I just want to get out here this year and, you know, do my best and, you know, try and get the shield back here.
Well, this is a very good New South Wales side. They were even better in the second game than they were in the first. Can you get even better in the third, make it a whitewash?
Mate, for sure. We're going to do it anyhow. So, you know, we're paying from last year.
Well, thanks for taking the time out, mate.
No problem, mate. Thanks, mate.
Steve Roach, thank you for that. Brett Mullins, all the players and the coach, thank you for those interviews. We're about to go to a break, then we're coming back with the Tooheys Man of the Match Award. This is the exclusive 9 coverage of State of Origin 2 from the Sydney Football Stadium.
Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, where New South Wales has wrapped up the State of Origin series for 1996, winning the second match 18 points to 6, and there are the statistics of the game. 3 tries to 1, Mullins got 2, Wishart 1, and of course Renouf for Queensland got their lone try. 18-6 the scoreline. And Peter, your thoughts when you've had time to reflect after all the celebrations and so forth. You made an observation to me in the break that Queensland probably shouldn't have went to the break.
The worst thing that happened to them was half-time, unfortunately, Ken. It was a far better game this second match, and I'm glad that was the case. And I'm sure that, although Phil Gould said that they dominated this match, I don't think that's exactly the case. The 5-minute period, the 2 minutes before half-time, when they had that try scored against them, and then the early try in the second half, that really hurt them. And Queensland will believe that they were both tough calls against them.
All right, well, let's take a look at Mullins. He had a terrific night, as we said. He got his 2 tries. Let's take a look at the first of them.
Lazarus is underneath that tackle. And here's Tuvey going from the 20-metre line. Inside the 10. Taken in by Ozkygrouch. It's a try!
Well, it was just great football here from Jeff Tuvey. They went to sleep at marker. He always takes advantage of that. A good ball here to Ozkygrouch, an unselfish play from Ozkygrouch. He offloaded to Mullins because Brett Dallas was on the back foot. You see Dallas actually backing away from the try scorer. And something like that early in the second half, it can break your spirit to some extent. And really, as I say, that 5-minute period just before half-time and just after half-time was probably the most significant 5 minutes of the entire game and ultimately the series.
Nice hands by Ozkygrouch, but as the match progressed, you saw Tuvey doing what he did in the last match, didn't he? He started to run, started to get more open space, and once again, a real good solid game from him. OK, let's take a look at the second try for New South Wales, and once again, it's Mullins who scored it.
It's with John. And then a short pass for Ettinghausen. He's got players left and right. He slides over. Is he over the line, though? No, he's not. Nansen says, stiff tackle.
Well, he's bombed back. Menzies on the inside was unmarked.
Now it's going to John. He cross-kicks. Up they go, Mullins. Mullins. He scores his second try.
Well, this is actually the one that I think the Queensland will feel hard done by. I don't think there's any doubt that Andrew Ettinghausen loses control of the football, and once you do that, it is a knock-on. And Brett Mullins, there's got to be some doubt about him being offside, but it was a great kick from Andrew Johns. Mullins positioned himself beautifully, and that really wrapped things up. Andrew Johns just seems to have so much time to do things, and his execution is also so good. And Brett Mullins, interesting to hear that it's his first time State of Origin level at the Sydney Football Stadium. Be a fond memories for him this way starting.
Yeah, well, nice way to go back to Canberra right now. Tim Sheridan is with the man of the match.
Well, and a New South Wales team chock full of some fantastic performances. It's that man who seems to have all that time to do things. New South Wales hooker Andrew Johns, who is our Tui's man of the match. Andrew, congratulations, $1,000 from Tui's.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Tui's and Channel 9 for this.
Well, how does that feel after 3-0 against you last year?
It's, I can't describe it, I'm just ecstatic, but the jobs didn't finish yet. They beat us 3-0 last year, and, still got one more game to go.
Yeah, obviously you're going to try and do that. Tonight they were a different team, weren't they? They scored first. They had you in a bit of trouble.
That's right. They're a great side. I don't think the scoreboard reflected what sort of game it was. We scored our tries. A little bit of luck come on it, and we were just lucky enough to capitalise. They'd made a few breaks, and unluckily, they didn't finish them. But it could have went either way. With a bit of luck, went the other way. But like I said, there's one more game to go, so hopefully we can get 3-0.
Tries before and after half time. The turning point for you?
Yeah, a little bit. Anyone who scores and scores again, they're very hard to beat. And usually in Origin, it goes, we score, they score, we score, they score. So luckily we got 2 or 3 points or tries back to back, and we're very hard to beat from there.
Andrew, our commentators have been pointing out just what an improvement you've had in your game since you came into representative football. Just what has Origin done for your game, do you think?
Probably confidence and maturity. I was, giving you confidence to play with blokes like Freddie, and playing with Loz this year. It's blokes like that and Lazo, and that's a dream come true. You see them on telly when you're a young fella, and I can't describe what it's like to play with them. And you just know when to have a look at a side, when to take them on, when to kick deep, and when to play the basics. So playing with them blokes, you got a lot of improvement in front of you.
Well, congratulations on a great victory tonight, and good luck in your endeavours at Suncorp in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Ta.
Thanks, Andrew.
Andrew Johns playing with his heroes and not much older than he is.
He must have made Laurie Daly and Glenn Lazarus feel fairly old, saying he watched him as a young bloke. But he got the award just in front of Laurie Daly, who was absolutely outstanding tonight, and he made Andrew Ettinghausen, who played well, look even better.
We will be back at the stadium after these messages.
Looking for a new set of wheels? Make tracks to your Ford dealer's half-year clearance and save with end-of-financial year deals like half-price plan on Festiva from an amazing $6,991 or half-price plan on Mondeo from $14,467. You heard right. Pay half now with no repayments for 2 years, plus clearance deals on used cars with no repayments for half a year. The half-year clearance sale. Buy anywhere else and you've paid too much. See your Ford dealer now and save.
Come and settle down at Annenbar View, the Hunter's truly affordable residential estate where families can build and grow. Annenbar View Stage 9 is selling now. Good-sized blocks with all amenities, close to schools, close to shopping centres, close to Newcastle, and just 5 minutes to Maitland. Some blocks with views, some with homes already built and waiting to be lived in. Talk to Joan.
$95. Look, dress room set of 4, just $45. Yes, you heard right, $45. And...
New South Wales winning the State of Origin Series, 18 points to 6, second game here tonight at the Sydney Football Stadium. Andrew Voss right now with the Queensland coach, Fatty Vaughton.
Well, Fatty, I know the toughest of times with the series lost, but if you can draw on a positive tonight, you wanted that more commitment from the players, and they did provide it.
Andrew, I'm very proud of my players tonight. Things didn't go right for us on the football field, but they kept digging deep. And as Queenslanders and as their coach, I'm real proud of them.
The crucial calls, is it fair to say, didn't go the Maroons' way tonight?
No, can't be too critical of referee Manson, but there's a few things that went against us. They won the penalties 13-8, 5 of them in a row there in the first half, and the call just before half-time, when they got a penalty for one of our players allegedly taking one of their players out of play or something. I thought that was a bit harsh, but New South Wales, to their credit, they played good football. Their defence was outstanding. I don't think we made too many line breaks. And full credit goes to Phil Gould and his Blues.
Paul, if you could replay any part of the game again, a period of the game again, would it be just after half-time when Mullins got the first of his 2 tries?
Yeah, at half-time I was very happy with the way we'd played. Would have preferred to go in at 6-2 ahead, but 8-6 and the way we played, I thought we were on top in the first half. I thought we played the better football, but then we made a few mistakes, and then they come up with a couple of tries, and from the kick from a good try for Mullins from the kick, and that was it.
Well, an unwanted piece of history tonight with the first send-off for young Craig Greenhill. Any consoling words for him?
I do feel for Craig. I don't think it was that bad from what I saw, but and the first send-off in history, he's really hurting in there at the moment.
Well, Fatty, what about it from last year, heading into the last game, looking for a shutout of your own? Now you have to try and stop News from doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot different. They're feeling in the dressing room, that's for sure. We were euphoric last year, and the boys have got their heads down. But, we are Queensland, as I said, quite proud of the boys tonight, the way they played, and who knows what can happen in the last game.
Paddy, we'll see you for Game 3.
Thank you.
Paul Vaughton there with Andrew Voss, and ouch, that really hurts the man, doesn't it?
Well, it shows just what it means, and that's exactly the way you should be feeling after a loss. New South Wales do have the opportunity now to inflict only the second clean sweep on Queensland in the history of State of Origin. 1986 was the only other time they've been able to do that, and I'm sure that Paul Vaughton and his players are hurting that much that they'll want to make sure that that is not the case in a couple of weeks' time.
There was a shot during the coverage there tonight of Greenhill sitting in that dressing room all by himself. I think it was one of the most dramatic shots I've seen in sport for many a long time. Yeah,
as I pointed out, I thought it was a send-off offence, and sometimes there's been different rules at representative football. That shouldn't be the case, and you've got to feel sorry for Craig Greenhill, but it was a swing arm, it was a high tackle, and that gets sent off in rugby league.
There's always going to be a first, isn't there? OK, let's take a look at the footy tab. I hope you got lucky. New South Wales 18 points to 6 over Queensland. Pick the score, $101.75. Don't forget that State of Origin Game 3, Monday 17th of June at the Suncorp Stadium, Brisbane. Queensland, New South Wales, live 7:30. Check your local guides, but of course Queensland trying to prevent the shutout, the 3-0 blot, and of course New South Wales chasing that one. Look forward to that game. It should be a beauty.
Yeah, let's hope they can't stop the clean sweep.
Speaking like a blue right now. Okay, on behalf of the commentary team, including of course that great call by Ray Warren, I'd like to thank everybody for watching out there, and look forward to your company next time we meet in Game 3, State of Origin, Suncorp Stadium, a couple of weeks' time. Bye for now.
underneath is Larson. Over the top was G. And Walters, who made that tackle. Here's Johns now, making a break. Eddinghausen was on his right. Now, hang on, David Manson has sent one of them to the sin bin. It is Steve Walters who's been sent to the sin bin. 28 metres out from the line. Langer. The check is across. It's looking for Sailor. The bounce of the ball. Grinoff goes over, puts the ball down, and it's a try. Oh! Queenslander wins. Billy Moore with a big run. And Singer on the blind. John's on the open. Then for Daly. Now for Furner. Then Eddinghausen. Now Wishart. And Wishart Crawford. There's the Blues try. Lazarus underneath that tackle. And here's Tooby going from the 20-metre line. Inside the 10. Taken in by Ozkygrouch. It's a try. The Blues have gone in on the far side of the ground. Mullins has scored for them. He cross kick. Up they go, Mullins. He scores his second try. Then Tooby away for Harrigan to go. Oh! Greenhill has taken Harrigan high, and he has been sent off. There's the siren. It's all over. The 1996 series has been won by the New South Wales Blues. Erasing the memories partially.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.